Hi, friends. I think we're live, and I just wanted to share that I've been using the new React Redux hooks that have been implemented uh, in version 7.1.0, which is not released yet, so it's in alpha right now. But when you view this, it probably will be released. And basically, it's just to avoid using the connect higher order component. I've been working on this Redux thing for Free Code Camp, and I've decided to take this higher order component thing and swap it out with hooks and see what happens, and also explore the API. It's experimental, so actually there's been some evolution of the API already. There used to be like a use Redux API. That's been dropped for a smaller selection, small surface area, but sort of more focused use case, more reusable hooks. And so the two main hooks that you want to use, there's a use store, but that's not encouraged. You always want to just select from the state. Let me just give you an idea of my Redux setup. I have one reducer. I'm using redux-starter-kit. And one reducer, and I just stick it in there as my root reducer. This would have been a root reducer. And it's just got one field for now, but I've just called it game. And the game reducer has a whole bunch of things. And that uses redux-starter-kit, which I quite enjoy using, but it does take some learning, especially with how to create reducers and stuff. But overall, a much better improvement over normal Redux. And then finally, my actions are very, very simple, dumb actions together with some strings. And so it's using fat reducers rather than fat actions, which I think I like that. And that seems to be encouraged by redux-starter-kit. So I have a whole bunch of actions here. And I'm going to my main component. And this is a component that basically just is a game component, right? And then it has a connect higher order component. And this is map state to props, and this is map dispatch to props. And so here it's just saying, all right, take all that state and just pass it straight in, which is very, very lazy, but that's the code that I inherited. And I'm just going to respect that more or less. And then this is action, so it takes all the actions that we export from this file and just, again, throws it in there. So just basically just gives this game component, full access, everything on the prop. And if there's a conflict, good luck. So we destructure game, and then we destructure again. And this game comes from the namespace that we gave it, right, inside of the root reducer down in here. Okay, and then we have a whole bunch of usage of the stuff. So the way that I approach this refactor, I already did it, but I'm just sort of replaying it for you. And I really like this this way of doing, just because like you just don't you're not misusing props to like just add stuff. You're actually using props to pass information from parent to child, and so I think this is a really much superior approach. useDispatch, very simple, doesn't take any arguments, just gives you a dispatch command that you can use to dispatch your actions. And so that's a little bit different from map state to map dispatch to actions, and that's great. And so useSelector, we can now select from something, right? So there's a put a question mark there for now. And this takes this gets you the store, and you can select something from the store. We do have to select the game prop, so the game namespace, right? And so now I can get rid of this props, and I can get rid of that because I no longer refer to props that are injected by higher order components, but not really from my ultimate parent, which is the app.js. That's down in here. Okay, so I'm just going to call this game, but then actually I can just collapse whatever I'm restructuring here up to game, more or less, right? So I say more or less because these and this is where things start to get confusing, right? So this actually comes from the state, and now I'm already starting to get some more clarity. And these actually these things actually come from the actions that are created down in here. So I have some so one thing I can do is just leave this as actions and then just dispatch them. So I'm just going to delete these guys. So actually, let me take note of what I'm doing down in here, because I probably will have to use them later on. Now they also expect more actions to be called from props. I no longer have props, and so now I just want to use dispatch, right? So literally just go dispatch .rotateBlock. There is this is germane to the glitch platform that I'm using. They are frankly just not that good. So they don't recognize the syntax, the star as syntax. Anyway, but now we fix that. Okay, so now we're going to continue fixing this. Hey, that works. Good job, glitch. And so we have more references to props, so on and so forth, right? I don't have to bore you with all of these things. I get it done pretty quickly. Hang on, and we will start getting back. Start game. We need start game. Start game. Start game. Ah, this is, what the hell is this? This is, what? Start game is not defined. Wait, so what is start game? Where do I use the start game? Ah, start game. Okay, so it's basically saying pass this down. So it's taking this start game used to be destructured for the props, but I no longer do that. And so now it's kind of like trying to ask me, like, where is this start game? I'm not going to use props for that. I'm going to just say I'm just going to convert this, right, and start using, well, I can just use dispatch. Isn't that brilliant? That to me is the genius of doing all this. Here we go. I also don't think I have prettier here. I am really annoyed by that, but it is what it is. I think I can trigger a rebuild. Let me trigger a rebuild. Let's see if prettier works. Nope, prettier does not work. Fantastic. Anyway, that's Glitch. It's sort of a newbie-friendly platform, so I'm kind of tolerating it, but definitely would not recommend it for advanced users. And then finally, you know, so that's a successful refactor of, and oh, I can take this away, so I can just get rid of the connect. Just export that, and that's a much simpler paradigm. Let's just get rid of the connect as well. Okay, so, and then, you know, I think one of the main pitches of hooks is that you can really start thinking about things and breaking stuff up in ways that make sense. So, for example, I really don't like super long components like this where it's hard to keep track of what's going on. Obviously, this is kind of a contrived example. I totally can live with this, but I just want to show you how I think about you know, just making custom hooks out of stuff. So, for example, I can just take this out and then say something like use key press. And declare this in there, and obviously return key press down in here. And all I have to do is just call dispatch in there, and I'd be able to call my actions, and this would be sort of nice functionality to do that. I should also use callback. But now I can just say use keypress and the keypress handle keypress equals. That's that. So so these refactors basically help you componentize your logic, right? And now I can just look at this independently, test it independently. You don't have to test it independently, but you can just look at these as like separate bits of logic and just kind of make sense of like what the component does at a high level. And if I want to, I can drill in further. So to me, that makes a lot of sense. In fact, I can take this use effect and stick it in there as well. Because why the hell not? In fact, I don't actually use handle keypress anywhere else. So screw it. Let's just call use keypress like that. And that's just an effect that runs every time. And it unmounts, and it's all handled within this keypress. React hooks design is focused on copy paste, right? And the ability to pull out your dispatch, right, and just throw stuff in there is a much more flexible design. I no longer have to. I'm no longer constrained, and I don't have to pass my props in into my hook or something like that. If React Redux just has these hooks, I can start using them like I would any other hook ecosystem stuff. So to me, that's very, very helpful because now my game component just looks like this, and it's just I can start making this into a time loop as well, and I'll probably start doing that refactor. But I think that React Redux has really good hook options, and it's an improvement on using Redux. All right, that's it. Thank you. Bye.